Hello, this is William, and this is Wusik Stringz, and this is a new version that I'm still working on. And let me show the new features first, then I'm going to show everything else. So one of the new features is the strum option. So it does is actually that it strums all the parts one by one. So if you have, in this case, I have 6 parts in here. They all have the volume turn on. So it's going to strum all the 6 parts. And you have the option of up, down, down, up, and random. So that's the strum option. Let me show other things. We also have now an option to solo a part. So here on this sound, I can go on part A, for instance, and solo part A. Or I can solo part B, C, and so on. I can unsolo by select solo again, and it's going to go back to normal audio. Another thing is the lock here that you see. If you hover the mouse over, it's going to show share left and right part settings. It's going to be able to edit all the parts at once, all these left and right parts. So everything from a part but the volume, pen, fine and tune. So I can go to any of the parts, and as long as the lock is on, I can then change, and it's going to affect all the parts. Including the envelope. So those are the new features. So let me go now to the first preset, and I'm going to go to the initial preset, just to make things more clear to understand. And I'm going to disable the effects here. So one thing, let's go first. You can check the version by moving the mouse over the Wusik logo. It's going to show at the bottom the version number. If you go here on the preset name between the previous and next preset and I click it, you can see there are some options now. Enable effects, enable master limiter, and enable note preview. So that's going to keep playing a note just for testing, or if I create a preset and don't have a MIDI keyboard to plug it, so it helps a lot. And if you right click it, it opens the preset browser. I already added some extra presets. So, okay, let's go back to my initial preset, which is this one. So how Wusik Stringz works? We have 6 parts. Each part is like a string sound. It's a exciter, which is set by this area here, and then a delay line that is tuned to the note we're playing. And since we're plugging a noise, in this case is white noise, it's always going to be different for each voice you create. And you have the optional white noise, pink noise, sawtooth, and you can also have pulse and sine. And for the sawtooth, pulse and sine, you can select an octave, then you can add the white noise again. I'm going to add a sine, and you can also remodulate all the selected sounds. So it's going to multiply one by one. And you can add a bit of extra bass on the lower notes, because if you hear now, the lower notes are very faint. So I'm going to add extra bass. So it sounds a bit better. Then you have the feedback of the delay line. And you can add a bit of resonance when the filter is on. You can hear that it becomes louder. The filter is a bandpass filter that is tuned to the note you're playing. So without the filter, it sounds a bit thin. As you add the filter, it adds more bass to the note. So that's this area here, and you also have the damping of the note. But as you have the damping selected, you can also change the damp mode. Manual is just going to use the damp knob to adjust the damping. But you can also select note off instead. So as you hold the note, it's going to keep sounding without the damp. And as you release the note, it's going to damp the note. And you also have an option of near zero velocity. So as you create the notes, it's going to create without a damp. And as soon as you press a very low velocity, around 20 velocity, is going to stop all the notes using the damp knob. So that's how it works. And then also have the same older notes. So if you keep creating the same notes, it's going to damp the older ones before creating the new ones. And then you also have the velocity to damp. So if I turn here to manual again and use the velocity to damp, then it's going to use the velocity instead. As I talked before, the left and right part sets in here when it's on is going to share all this area here, the left and right, to all the 6 parts. So each part has these options that we talk about. Then you have the volume, pan, fine, and tuning. So you can adjust each of the part for that. And we have the attack, decay, sustain, release envelope. If you don't know how an ADSR envelope works, just go for it. It's very simple. You have an attack and decay to the sustain value. If sustain is like here at the maximum, it's not going to use the decay, only if you have a lower sustain. So let me add the envelope with a quick decay to 0. Let me turn off the velocity and turn off the damp. And you have the release too. And you have the attack. And then you have the velocity to the envelope, which just adds the velocity to multiply the envelope output. And we also have a master area with the pitch bend, volume, pan, fine tune, which is very self-explanatory. And then the strum that we talked about already. Then on the effects, it's just regular effects. You can use the dry wet to add or disable the effect. And you can disable the effects globally. So when you browse the presets, if the enable preset is not selected, it's going to bypass the effects for each sound low. Okay, so that's it. I think I showed it all. And don't forget that you can resize the interface using the triangles on the bottom right. So you can make it any size that you want. If you by accident make it too big, just right click on the Wusik logo and it's going to make it smaller, and then you can resize it back again to any size that you want. And I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching.